Welcome to the Chanhassen Athletic Association 2014 Recreational Soccer Coaches Training. Our goal today is to give you an idea of what is expected of you as a coach, what your players need, and to give you some tools and suggestions to help make this a successful season for you and all of your players. Before we get going, a quick introduction. My name is Joe Sorchik. In addition to being the head coach for the Chanhassen High School girls soccer program, I'm also the assistant director of coaching and goalkeeper coach for CC United. I hold an NSCAA National Diploma, NSCAA Advanced National Goalkeeping Diploma, and a USSF National D license. In addition to coaching the high school girls, I've coached competitive teams, both boys and girls, ranging from 8 to 19 years old. I've also worked with many rec kids as young as 3 to 4 years old. So why are you here? At first, this may sound like an unbelievably simple question. I want to coach soccer. I want to coach my kid. No one else stepped up and someone's got to do it. Whatever your reason, let's take a deeper look at why you are here. What motivates you as a coach? What drives you? What excites you? Is it the thrill of victory and accomplishment? The idea that you can take a group of kids and give them the skills and motivation necessary to win the big game? Is it personal? Not money, of course. But is it personal growth? Individual skill development? Is it making you a better person? Or is it the tactics? Do you want to teach the kids your style of soccer? How to attack? How to possess the ball? How to defend as a team? How to create opportunities? Which of these coaches are you? The answer is none of them. Sorry, a little bit of a trick question. Each of these three coaches are defined by how the game impacts them. They're defined by how coaching impacts them. I'm not saying you can't enjoy a win. I'm not saying you won't grow and become a better person after your coaching experience. And we're not saying that you can't teach the kids the game of soccer and enjoy teaching them the game of soccer. But this isn't about you. It must always be about the children. So as we go through this training, as you start developing sessions, as you are holding practices, when you're coaching in games, remember to always start from the viewpoint of what is it the kids need? What is it the players need? That's how we coach. So what is it that the kids need from this program? Competitive sports, in this case soccer, is a great opportunity to encourage physical activity. It's also a great way to teach individual responsibility and how to work within a team. We can help develop a positive self-image and self-confidence, as well as teaching them the value of focus and a strong work ethic. Now, on top of all these life lessons and life skills, we're also going to teach them soccer. So this is an opportunity for us to give them the skills and game instruction to help them develop as players. So the question then is, how do we achieve all this? How do we help make them better people? How do we make them better soccer players? How do we make them better teams? What you'll hear me talking about a lot today is motivation, because what we want to find is a way to get the kids to buy in to what we are doing. If they buy into it, then we'll get their attention and their energy, and we'll get results. So why do kids come to practice? Why do they come to games? Why do they even participate in the program? Now, if the answer is because mom and dad signed me up and I have to, well, that's an obstacle we have to overcome as a coach. If they're there because they're forced to, we're not going to get much out of them. So we have to find a way to engage the kids in what we're doing, and through that process, get across all the lessons and skills that we want to give to them. So coaching the girls at Chanhassen is a very different experience than what you will encounter coaching your team. The motivation of a high school player is typically very goal oriented. They want to win. They want to be successful. They want to feel like they are contributing to their team and contributing to their team's success. They want to develop themselves individually so they can contribute more, play a bigger role, be more vital to the team. All of these things together are what they hope to get out of the program. So what that means is anything that I do as a coach that furthers these goals will be accepted and they'll buy in. So if my practice plans are physically demanding, they are stressful, they are high pressure, they are boring, they are repetitive, as long as they look at that and say, hey, this is going to help me get where I want to go, get me what I want, then they'll buy in. They'll do it. And that's what we're looking for. Do the practice plans match the motivations? If they do, we'll get the effort and focus we need out of the players. The problem is I see way too many coaches that are coaching recreational teams like it's a competitive high school team. I'm trying to teach them how to win. I'm trying to teach them how to create. I'm trying to teach them how to score. I'm trying to make them better dribblers. I'm trying to make them better passers. I'm trying to get them to operate as a unit. None of these things are in line with the motivations of the young soccer player. So what does motivate a young soccer player? They want to have fun. That's it. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to go out there, have a good time, be with their friends, play some games. They want to enjoy themselves. So if we want to get their buy-in, if we want to get their attention, if we want to get their focus and get their energy, we have to make sure that our lesson plans, our practices, our game approach, all of that is in line with their desired goal of having fun. So this is where a couple coaches always roll their eyes. Why am I spending time learning how to coach if all I'm doing here is trying to entertain kids? Aren't we supposed to be teaching soccer? Absolutely. We've covered what our expectations are, what we're hoping to achieve with these kids. We want to get them physically active. We want to teach them personal responsibility and how to work within a team. We want to build their self-image, help them see themselves as a better person. We want to teach them to focus and a good, strong work ethic. We want to teach them soccer skills. We want to teach them how to dribble, how to pass, how to shoot, how to defend, how to play within a team. How do we create attacks? How do we hold on to the ball? How do we defend as a group? We want to teach them all that. But rather than doing the old style practice sessions that we all grew up in, where you're standing in a line passing, we are working in these exercises, we're working in drills, rather than doing these things which fight against what the kid wants to do. Can we find a way to take their motivations, take what they want to do, take what they're here for, and use that to achieve our goals? This is a lot like when I was a kid and my mom would put green beans in the meatloaf, hoping that I wouldn't notice. If she sees this, by the way, I did, and that's why I hated meatloaf until I was in college. But the idea was, can I take something he doesn't want to do, doesn't want to eat, and put it into something that he likes? And that's what we're going to try to do here. Can we take all these skills and lessons that we want to teach them and hide it inside something fun, something that will motivate them, something that will get them excited, something that they want to do while still achieving what we want to do as coaches? So before we get into the how, let's take one last look at what it is we want to achieve as coaches this season. What are we looking to provide for the kids? We want to instill a sense of team and understanding of each player's role in the larger team. Let them know that this game is bigger than them, that they need to rely on their teammates, use their teammates to be successful. We want to develop focus and determination, that they want to achieve something and they have to go work to get it. They have to learn to listen to their coach. The coach will provide direction, and that's something we want to instill. We want to promote a positive self-image. This isn't always as much about what they are now, but what they can become. Can we give them that excitement of things they'll learn, things that they'll do? We also want to foster a strong work ethic. We want them when they come to practice to work hard, give it their all. And of course, we're going to teach soccer skills and tactics. So let's look more in depth into what we mean by soccer skills. We're looking at passing technique. Now, when we're talking about passing, we're not always only talking about sending the ball to someone else, but we're talking about receiving the ball. So how do we kick it? How do we receive it? So these are things that we want to try to instill in them. Dribbling technique, we're talking about the close control. So how do I control the ball and dribble with people around me? How do I dribble for speed when I have open spaces in front of me? How do I get down the field? How do I beat a defender who's in front of me? We'll want to talk about defending. 1v1 on an individual basis. How do I stop the attacker? And it's not just run at him and kick as hard as you can and hope you get the ball. How do we defend? We want to talk about finishing. Now, finishing is the act of scoring goals. It's more than just shooting. It's more than just kicking. It's about when you're around the goal, creating that opening and giving yourself an opportunity to take a shot on goal. And for some age groups, we'll have to talk about goalkeeping and how that is done and what qualities we want to see in a good goalkeeper. And also, we want to cover tactics. Tactics are basically, instead of what we do as individuals, how do we play as a team? So when we are in possession of the ball, how do we hold on to it? How do we pass? Do we look to pass? And just as importantly, are we looking to receive? Are we looking to get open for the ball? How do we defend as a team? They're going to attack with 3 or 4 people. We need to defend with at least 3 or 4 people. Going up against the other defense, how do we attack? How do we create? What opportunities are there? Also talk about special circumstances and set pieces like throw-ins, goal kicks, free kicks, corner kicks, and that kind of thing. Now, obviously, looking at a 3v3 game, the level of tactics is significantly less than you would see in a 6v6, 8v8, or a full-side 11v11, but they're still there. Do we get back when we lose the ball? Do we push up and try to create when we win it? These are all things that we're going to try to instill in the kids. So now the $25,000 question. How do we do all this? Well, what we want to do is try to marry the child's motivation with our desires. So what we want to do is, how can we teach all of these skills in a fun environment? Because that is what motivates the kids. If we can put these into games, put these into exercises that the kids will do, they'll put their energy into it and they will learn. If we're fighting them by trying to keep them focused, keep them attentive, keep them paying attention, we're going to struggle to get the results we want to get. So what we're going to look at now is how can we pick out some of these topics, some of these sessions that we want to run, and present them in a way that teaches the skills we want while still being fun for the kids. So let's start with, what is fun for kids? If they are standing, they'll get bored. If they're not doing anything, they'll entertain themselves their own way. If they are losing or struggling, they're going to get frustrated. If you ask too much from them, if it's too complicated, they're going to get confused. When they get confused, they get frustrated. When they get frustrated, they quit paying attention. So what you want to do, we want to keep it simple, keep it active, and keep it fun. Okay, so here are some ideas on how to teach team building, how to teach them to operate within a group, which is one of the most difficult things, especially for the younger kids, to teach them. Now, most of these games are geared at kids aged 4 to probably 8 years old. You can use them for older, but this is the age group that we're focusing on for right now. So we'll start with a very simple game of tag. Okay? Kids love to play tag. This is easy. So you tell them, here's the deal, here's your square, well outlined, here's your play area, everybody inside, and Johnny, you're it, go, and let them play. Just let them go for a little bit, okay? And simply say, there you go. They'll play tag, they'll have fun. Now we look and say, okay, what is this doing from a soccer standpoint? How are they developing as a soccer player, as a team? Well, I would say they're having fun as a team. They're getting to know each other. They're bonding. But you're right. We need to take this further. So now we're just going to take it one step. What if we give every player a ball? You're still playing tag, but you have to be dribbling a ball while you're doing it. If it's too hard for the player who's it to tag anybody while dribbling a ball, let the player who's it not have a ball, but everybody else does. When you tag somebody, they're it, you take their ball, and you go. Now, they're still playing a game. They're still having fun, but imagine this, they're dribbling. Okay? We can stop the game occasionally and say, here's an idea. What if we keep the ball closer? What if when we need to run faster, we use big touches? So things like this, we can incorporate our coaching points into a very simple game of tag. If you look at the second one, now what we do is amoeba tag. It's still a game of tag. But when you tag somebody, instead of them being it and you running around, you're both it. So now you either hold hands, interlock arms, whatever you want to do to keep them together. They now go as a group. They have to learn to operate together. When it's two of them, shouldn't be too big of a deal. Three gets more complicated. By the time you start getting to 4, 5, 6, they really have to work together if they're going to get any of the kids who are free and they're going to be able to tag them. The third game is back to the coach. This is more of a individual skill thing as opposed to team building, but still a great game. So what you do is all the kids give their balls to the coach, and the coach kicks them, throws them away. And the job of the kids is to go get the balls, bring them back as quickly as possible. Now, to make sure that they get the idea of the game, usually I start with just pick the ball up with your hands, run it back to me. Very well done. And I threw your ball, go get it again. And they're coming in droves, and you just keep throwing the balls away. Now we say, can you bring it back using only your knees? So now you've got kids on their knees dribbling balls back. It's funny. They enjoy it. It's a blast. Now can we start getting some soccer skills into it? Can you bring the ball back to me using only the outside of your foot? So now they need to learn how to touch the ball and control it with the outside of their foot. Use only the inside of your foot. Use only your heel, so the back side of your foot. Use only the bottom of your foot. So when you think about it, in a game, if you're dribbling forward and all of a sudden you come to a defender, when you do your pullback move, that's simply putting your foot on top of the ball and controlling it with the bottom of your feet. So we can instill that in this game. While you're doing that, if the coach keeps moving around, that also increases the need for the players to be aware of everything around them. So by having that awareness aspect to it, we're teaching some very basic level tactics as well. The final game on here, game 3 to game 5. Not sure why that happened, but the zoo. So what this is we have teams on opposite sides. So we have a red team and a blue team here. Each player is assigned an animal. So we have a blue elephant and a red elephant, and a blue giraffe and a red giraffe, and a blue lion and a red lion, all the way down the line. And then what we do is the coach will call out the animals. Elephants. And throw a ball in the middle. The elephants then go try to get their ball and put it into the opposing team's zoo. Now, if you notice this, the zoo looks a whole lot like a goal. So basically, we're playing 1v1 soccer. Now, if we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, ones play soccer, 2 play soccer, 3 play soccer, some of the kids won't be terribly interested. All of a sudden, we give them animals, we make it a zoo, we give them a storyline, kids will do this. Then we say, okay, elephants and monkeys, go. And now they're playing 2v2 to goals. Elephants, monkeys, and zebras. Now we're playing 3v3. So we can get our game results that we want out of this. We can get the coaching points we want into it. But it's in a fun atmosphere that the kids will enjoy. Now, at the end, these are just ideas. You can come up with your own. There are lots of more samples and ideas out there on the internet. At the end here, we'll give you a few places where you can find some. But here's another one for dribbling. Again, very simple game. What we do is, if it's sunny out, you can actually use their real shadows. If not, just follow behind the player. And we simply say, stay in your partner's shadow. So you put them in groups of 2. And as the first person runs around, the second player tries to stay right behind him or stay in their shadow. The first player, of course, is trying to lose their tail. So can I fake this way and go that way and lose you? And then how quickly can you get caught back up? The next stage we take this to is give everyone a ball. So now I'm trying to dribble away from you with a ball. You're trying to follow me with a ball. If it is too hard for the follower to keep up, then let the followers not have a ball. So just the person has a ball, the shadow does not. And can I lose you? Now, what's the game application for this? It's great. Okay? As I'm going down a field and I come up to an attacker, can I lose them? Can I quickly go one direction, change direction, go another? Can I get around somebody? So simple things like that. We've taken the skill, and rather than teaching it in a boring, dull practice, we're doing this through a game. Okay? So here's another dribbling exercise. Rather than being the can you get away, can you make quick moves, can you change direction like we had in the last ones, this is more about close control dribbling. Can I move around like I want to move around while keeping the ball at my feet? So the first one here is called builders and breakers. So what we do is you scatter cones all over the field. Some are set up normal, some are turned upside down. The job of the builders is to try to get every single cone set up so they are set the right way. The breakers try to flip them over so they're upside down. Technically, we could have also called this 2-year-olds and mommies, but not everyone would see the humor in that. So what's going to happen now is you divide them into two teams. The builders team, I said, runs around and tries to straighten them all out. The breakers try to flip them over. We'll start with no balls and just let the kids go. Now, the nice thing about this game is while the kids feel they're trying to achieve something, they're going for the goal of turning them all over, it's never going to happen. The game goes on forever, but they still feel that motivation of can we get more, can we get more, can we get more. If your kids need to have a winner, then put a time limit on it. We'll go for 2 minutes. And when the 2 minutes is up, I yell freeze, and we count how many are the right way, how many are the wrong way, and the builders or the breakers win. Of course, now how does this help with the game? Well, to some extent, we're talking about teamwork. We're talking about organization. Can they each take different areas of the field and try to be responsible for those? And that helps. But ultimately, we do want to put a ball into it. We can make this a dribbling exercise by saying, okay, everyone has a ball at their feet. You cannot turn over a cone unless you are touching a ball with your feet. So you got to bring it with you. Can this be a passing drill or passing game? Yes. What if we give each team 2 balls and you can only turn over cones while you're touching one of the balls? So now if I am on one side and I flipped over my cones and my teammate is on the other side, can I pass them the ball and give them the cone or the ball so they can start flipping over cones? So we can turn this simple game, which the kids will enjoy, into a passing or dribbling exercise. The next one is actually a very well-known one, kick out. We put them into a box. Every player has a ball, and the idea is to try to kick out the other player's balls while holding onto your own, keeping yours inside the box. It's good for close control. It teaches some basic defending, teaches closing down, it teaches shielding, teaches a whole lot of things, and the kids get a kick out of it. One of the big problems with this game that I always have is what happens to a player that's not very good and gets their ball kicked out in the first 10 seconds of every round? And now they sit there and they wait for the game to end. And sure enough, we've got Sally and Lisa are the last 2 left, and they're really good. And they dance around for 2 minutes till the coach finally says, okay, it's a tie, you both win. And now everybody gets to try again. So this one has a way around that. So we have our hospital. When you get your ball kicked out, you dribble over to the hospital and you do 10 toe touches. Once you do your 10 toe touches on the ball, you're back in and you keep on playing. So now that we get the problem of this is a never-ending game, the kids need to feel like they can win. Okay. So why don't we say we're going to let the game run for 60 seconds. And we'll see if anybody is able to stay in there for 60 seconds. Now there's a task to them, a challenge that they can try to achieve. For the kids who are never able to achieve that challenge, what can we do for them to keep them motivated? Well, your dribbling is not where it needs to be. You're not going to be successful in the box yet, which is why we're working on this. What else can I give you? Maybe I can give that player, here's the deal. When you get into the hospital, I will count to 10. Can you get 20 toe touches in 10 seconds? Once they do that, they feel accomplished. Get back in and keep dribbling. Now when they get knocked out, they don't feel bad anymore. I'm going to go to the hospital and see if I can get 22, 23 in 10 seconds, or something like that. So there's ways to take a look at, here's a problem I faced. How can we solve that? Okay, so a couple more here before we'll move on. Passing. How do we teach passing? Take a look at this from its most basic standpoint. The idea of passing is to take the ball from one player and put it into another area. And at the end of that time, another player is in the same area as the ball. That's really, in its simplest form, what passing is. So how can we recreate that in a fun game environment? This is basically bocce ball with soccer balls. So we have a target ball, and can the players hit that ball, or who can get closest to it? So something simple like this, the kids will enjoy, and it's very simple to set up. It's initially non-competitive, and since it's non-competitive, there's not a defender, there's nobody pushing them, they're allowed to focus on their technique. So we can teach them the proper passing technique and see if we can get closer and closer to where that ball is. As they get good at it, we can make it more challenging by sending the ball farther away. Okay? We can give them the idea of putting them into teams. So we got the red team and the blue team. And if the red team gets really, really close where blue doesn't think they can beat them, can we knock the red ball away? So things like that. So simple things, games like this, can be used to teach passing. Much as we would have done in the old days of having the two lines set up, we can go down and teach the passing. We're now doing that in something the kids will find fun, enjoyable, and will stay focused on. So here's another game that works on finishing. Kicking the ball, how to score, is also a good game for instilling good passing habits, how to work and move as a team. So this game's called Clean Your Room. We divide the field into two halves. Each half, or room, is filled with balls that we call trash. Once the coach leaves the house, leaves the field, the game starts, and it goes on for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever time frame you want. During the time that the coach is gone, each team tries to clean their room. You do that by moving your trash into the opponent's room. If you want to make sure the game is understood well, you can start by using hands, allow them to roll them, or go straight to passing, kicking in the other team's room. What you're looking for is, can you put the ball into space away from where the other team is so it takes them longer to go get it? So can we find openings in the other room? You can also take this one step further by saying, okay, only 2 players on each team are allowed to actually send trash over. The rest of the players are getting balls and passing to those 2. So now we're starting to develop awareness, communication. Can we create these opportunities? Now, you can take this game to another stage by adding a channel in the middle. So this means now they have to kick across the channel to get it in the other team's room. As teams get older, or you need a bigger challenge, that channel can get bigger and bigger and bigger, requiring longer and harder kicks with more accuracy. To make it really advanced, you can actually play this game with 3 teams and have the third team stand in the channel playing defense. So as the blue team tries to kick it over to the red team side, the yellow team tries to keep the ball from making it and sending it right back to the blue. So now they have to find holes in the defense while also looking at holes in the back. This is something that I've actually done with high school age kids, and they still get value out of this, and it relates directly to what they're trying to accomplish in games. Okay, and the last thing you always want to do with any practice session is end with a game. So you want to end with as close as you can to a real representation of what it's like on game day. So they can take some of the skills that they've learned and developed and put that into a game situation. Now, one of the nice things about the Chanhassen Athletic Association is every practice session is always followed by a game by design. So that makes it nice. Rather than worrying about how do I play a game with my 8 kids when they're usually playing 6v6, you've always got another team to play, and you get your game. So if you do end up coaching for another team someday, or for whatever reason you don't have an opposition, you still need to play a game. Now, said it might not be the full 6v6, it might not be 8v8, 11v11, but can we create a game to goals that allows them to put into practice everything that we just worked on into a game situation? So now let's say you have a practice tonight, and you are going to put together your practice plan. Lesson number 1, always have a practice plan. It's easy to say, never mind, I'm going to wing it. Always have a practice plan. Have ideas in front of you. Always plan on the fact that some sessions may not work, some exercises you may have. You may have a game that you think will be just perfect, and you realize 3 minutes in that the kids are not buying this. They're not getting into it, they're not enjoying it, this isn't working. If you anticipate needing 4 games to get you through your practice, make sure you have 7, make sure you have 8, so that when something doesn't work, you can go next, next. You may find that you play the same game for 40 minutes straight because the kids are getting a lot out of it, they're enjoying it. Perfect. But always have some flexibility. When you get done, take a look at what you've come up with. Are all the activities you planned fun? Are the kids going to enjoy it? Are they going to buy into it? Are they going to get excited? Do the activities you have foster development in one of those desired areas? So one of the things that you want to work on is that covered by your lesson plan. When you're done, does it end in a game? If your answers are yes, 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 beautiful. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want. We've now created a session that's going to hit the areas that we want. It's going to foster development in soccer areas, in personal life areas. It's fun for the kids, so they're going to enjoy it, and we're going to tie it into the game. That's all we're looking for. So I gave you some ideas today, and the main reason for that was to take a look at, can you see how this approach, these games, translate into teaching the skills that you want to teach them? So can you see how those two are partnered together? Obviously, that's not enough ideas to get you through your season. Not every session is going to be perfectly appropriate for your team. So in many cases, you can come up with your own. You take a look at the skill that you want and how can I get them to, how would I do that in a old-fashioned practice atmosphere? Now, how do I turn that into a game? And you can come up with your own in a lot of cases. If you're still stumped, there's lots of places to get ideas and get lesson plans. The Minnesota Youth Soccer Association has a page. They divide theirs by age group, so it's U6 for 4, 5, 6 year olds, U8 for 6, 7, 8 year olds, and that kind of thing. So you'll find a lot of them there. US Youth Soccer has some great tools available there. While I am unbelievably biased, one of my personal favorites, of course, is East United Soccer Club. If you look under coaches and then hit rec, it divides them by age group. So you can find a whole lot of lesson plans there and ideas that you can use for your kids. Now, if you want to provide them a challenge, feel free to give your kindergartners a first and second grade lesson plan. Be careful because they're designed for certain development ages. We don't want to push them too far. But if you want to give them a challenge, take a look at the next age group up and see what they have. I have with rec teams before, especially when you're looking at that second through fifth grade age group, can we give them a U9, U10 competitive lesson plan and see if they really buy into, let's talk about our team shape, let's talk about getting bigger. Sometimes they will. So that's always an opportunity for you too. But there's lots and lots of opportunities or options there and resources for you to be able to use and find anything you need to help develop a great lesson plan for your kids. And of course, you can always give me a call. I'm more than happy to chat with coaches. I love sharing this game with anyone who's interested. So if you ever have any questions, concerns, comments, anything you want to talk about, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a call. Even if you have one of those unique circumstances with your team. My girls have just lost 5 games in a row. I know we don't keep score, but they all know that we lost by a ton. Ooh, what can I do? How can I get them motivated again? How can I get them back? My goalkeeper is terrified of the ball. I don't know a lot about goalkeeping, but I know that this is bad. Help. Feel free to give me a call. Let me know. I'd love to chat, give you some ideas, send you over some lesson plans. Just try to make sure you don't email 5 minutes before practice. Give me some notice. But anything you want to talk about, any questions you have, any concerns you have, please feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to help walk you through it. Finally, I want to take a minute and say thank you. I believe wholeheartedly that this is a great game and that playing in competitive sports is a great way for kids to develop as individuals, develop life skills that will help them become better young adults, better students, and ultimately down the road, better employees, better husbands, better wives, better fathers, mothers, friends, teachers, lawyers, doctors, everything else that life has to throw their way. The life skills we teach them, the confidence they get from playing in sports is tremendous. So I want to say thank you for being a part of that. Not only for the time that you're giving up, but for the effort you're taking to try to become a better coach, to try to be better at providing this opportunity for our kids. So thank you very much. And as always, anything I can do to help make this better for you, please let me know.